Hello everyone, hope you are doing great. In this video, I'm gonna explain to you how I did the dynamic selector in Max MSP. And as you can see, there are two modes, the random and the control mode. The control mode lets you decide which velocity is outputting, and the random outputs random values. So I'm gonna show you what sounds like. Here there are always in piano. So that, and if I turn it to random, yeah, that's that. So let's get into the patch here. And that's all. It's quite simple. I don't know if that's good or bad, but that's how it is, or that's how I made it. So going from the previous video, that was the triggering generator, I took the metro, and when the metro outputs a bang, I send it to both a random here and the node, or sorry, the number selector going from the dial. Those two are sent to the switch, which control which mode you are in, if it's in the random mode or in the controlled mode, which comes from the first inlet. And by default, with the load mess, it's starting in 2, which is the control mode. And by the way, I recently discovered that load mess is from load message. That was quite a surprise for me. Side apart. And well, that switch selects what number comes into, and the numbers goes from 0 to 4. Sorry, I didn't say that. The selector goes from 1 to 4, and here the selector is from 1 to 5. Because, as I said in a previous video, the selector outputs from the right inlet, from the most right, every number that doesn't got selected here. So the outputting numbers, the selector, it's gonna output from the right outlet if there's a 0 or if it's a 5. And that's what's happening here, because the load mess goes from 1 to 5, and the random goes from 0 to 4. So when there's a 0 or a 5, it's gonna output to the right outlet, which is the fortissimo. So I divided the Midi number, the velocities number from 0 to 127 into 5, which are the pianissimo, piano, mezzoforte, forte, and fortissimo. And pianissimo is 25, piano 50, mezzoforte 75, forte 100, and fortissimo 125. And those messages goes to a drunk, which the top number is 128, and has a step of 6, just to give a little variation when there's both. When there's the control mode and it's outputting the same velocity, and when there's the random velocities, just not to be always 25 or 50 or 75 or 100 and 125. This is with the idea to give more variation and to sound more human, because, as I said, this project started as a way to create a patch which I or a person couldn't distinguish between a human or a machine playing. So that's why there's the drunk. And if you can see here, this connector comes from here, which is from the node. And there's a trigger, integer, and bang. So first, when there's the integer, bangs the drunk, which sends the value first, and then sends the integer. Why is that? Because it could happen that the Midi node goes first here after the velocity. And in that case, the cast slider will output the Midi node, but without the velocity given. And that could be a problem if you have the random mode. That happened several times, so the way to assure that there's gonna always be the velocity after the node was with the trigger. So that's why I'm using that. And you could be thinking or asking, but wait, why you are sending a bang to the drunk if you are giving a set previously? Because the messages don't trigger the drunk. That's very important. The messages don't trigger the drunk. And I could say that in the majority of the objects, the messages don't trigger them, but they put them in a certain state or something. So that's why. Because if I hit, for example, if I've hit 50, there's gonna be a message that tells the drunk to be at 50. So when I triggered it, it will output a value similar to 50. It would not be 50 because there's the step. So let me put a bang and connect it to the drunk. So the next value, it's gonna be 55. Yeah, it's in the line because the most separate value, it's 6 up or down. So 55, it's 5. So it's into the range. And what else? Here, the seed. The seed is to change the random, because as you know, or in case you know, the random, it's not really a random, but it's a very, very, very long list of numbers. But definitely it's a list, so it will loop itself at a certain point. So in order to avoid that, I'm changing the seed and the seed will be all the lists that the random has. So, which changing the seed within a certain period of time, the random will be a random, a proper random. And the seed is being changed with the when there's 3 sets played. With that, there's a counter here and sends the random, which goes to the seed. And that gives the proper variation. And yeah, that's that. So in the next video, I'm gonna explain the octave generator. And I think that would be the last video. So good. Well, if you like it, leave a like. If you didn't understand something or if you have any questions, leave a comment. And I'll see you in the next video. Bye bye.